From Bennett Field in cold, rainy Paulsboro, it's the South Jersey Group 1 final. Today, the undefeated Bulldogs of Glassboro High School against the undefeated Red Raiders of Paulsboro High School. Hi everybody, I'm Bob Schrack. Miserable conditions today at Paulsboro, but a dream matchup for Gloucester County fans between two rivals that used to meet on Thanksgiving Day. I'm joined today by Steve Crispin. Steve, miserable conditions to play a football game. Do they favor either team?
I think coming into this game, certainly we're going to have to keep an eye on which team is able to move the ball effectively on the ground. I think the team that has to go to the pass very early is certainly going to be a disadvantage, as I think it's very evident conditions are going to get awful bad this afternoon.
Paulsboro's won 50 straight games, Steve. They won 4 straight sectional championships. What does Glassboro have to do to end that streak today?
Glassboro has been a great defensive team all year long. They have some outstanding numbers, and they're certainly going to have to play some great defense today. This Paulsboro offense is built around a very balanced attack, and we're going to be talking about some of those individuals shortly. But the defense is going to be the key. They have to neutralize this offense attack and try to keep their offense on the field as long as they possibly can.
Terrific coaching job this year by the Glassboro head coach Bob Clear. Don't hear a whole lot about him, Steve. I think he's done a great job.
He certainly has. This is a team that is really with no superstars. They work together very well. As we mentioned, defense has been their focus, and again, they also come at you with a very balanced offensive attack. They're running the football will be primarily their mission today. They have a good passing attack in their quarterback and wide receiver combinations, but he's done a great job in getting this team undefeated to this point in the season.
Kenny Scott is key returner and running the football for Glassboro High School.
Certainly a player that the Paulsboro Red Raider team is going to have to be concerned. Out of the backfield, great speed to the corners, likes to run the sweep with Brackett as his lead back, and as you mentioned, in the open field, maybe nobody quicker. It'll be interesting to see how effective he can be on this wet turf.
Glassboro defense with 7 shutouts on the season, kind of a no-name defense, but Gary Brackett, the anchor guy on that defense.
The heart and soul, 73 tackles coming into this game, 43 solo tackles. He is the anchor both offensively and defensively, but as we said, this team is built around their defense, and he is really the heart of that defense.
Paulsboro head football coach Glenn Howard done a magnificent job this year again, Steve.
Well, they're here 8th time in his 10 years. Started off a little bit slow with 3 losses, but the last 4 have been victories for Paulsboro. We talk about all the numbers, but that doesn't mean anything if they don't come out here with a victory today.
Gabe Spitali, the quarterback, had to replace a legend this year. Steve, he did it quite well.
He certainly has. He's been a real spark plug for this team, 12 TDs on the season, and they knew they weren't going to be able to replace it, Kevin Harvey, but they've done it with a great team effort, and it really starts with Gabe Spitali.
Typically tough Paulsboro defense this year, and Lee Campbell, he's the anchor guy there, one of the best hitters in South Jersey.
When we talk about Brackett on the Bulldog side, Campbell is very much the same type of player for the Paulsboro Red Raiders. Out of the fullback position, he does a lot of fine things for them offensively, but defensively, again, he is really the heart of that defense, and there's probably not going to be very much better than what we're going to see here from the Red Raiders.
Okay, dream matchup for the Group 1 championship, undefeated Glassboro against undefeated Paulsboro, right after this.
50/50s by the band, sweatshirts, t-shirts, hats by the football.
It's the South Jersey Group 1 final, Glassboro and Paulsboro at Bennett Field in Paulsboro. Bob Schreck along with Steve Crispin. It's raining at Paulsboro, and a lot more rain is expected as the day progresses. Could have an effect on the football game. Paulsboro won the toss, deferred, and Glassboro will be receiving. Both teams 10-0. They play in different conferences. Glassboro won the Tri-County Conference Classic. Paulsboro, its 4th straight Colonial Conference Championship. These teams met on Thanksgiving Day for many, many years, and one of the classics in the South Jersey region. Reggie Lewis will kick off for Paulsboro High School deep. The excellent returner for Glassboro High School, Kenny Scott, capable of breaking the long one. And we're ready to go in the South Jersey Group 1 final. Good kick by Lewis. Scott at the 15.
On the reception.
And picking his way. Good return by Scott, giving Glassboro a pretty good field position at the 31-yard line.
80, Anthony Holloway, and number 39, Jared Cooper.
This Glassboro offense, which had a good season, Steve, will be tested early by a solid Paulsboro defense.
You know, Bob, surprisingly, the conditions on the field are not as bad as you would think with the kind of rain that we've had. Both these teams, a lot of quickness on both sides of the ball, and we'll have to see how footing and how difficult it's going to be for these teams to be able to move out there.
That's a Yitem runs the offense for Glassboro High School. He's had a terrific senior season. John Finelli, the referee for today's game. Item making the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey all-academic team this year. Handoff straight ahead. And Brackett, not much doing.
I think it's going to be very important for both of these teams to be able to run north-south. Their Brackett out of that fullback position is going to be a very important factor in this Glassboro offense. They're very simple. They run out of a wing T formation. You have to get the fullback dive between guard and guard, but you'll see a lot of sweep action from the halfback and wingback for this Glassboro.
Brackett and Scott, the backs behind Yatum. And the handoff is to Mills. Mills going nowhere. That tough Paulsboro defense anchored by Lee Campbell. Campbell in on the tackle. And it'll be 3rd and long for Glassboro.
Bob, there's so many similarities between these two teams as you have an opportunity to see the Bulldog offense.
Glassboro offense, Kenny Scott at halfback, Brackett the fullback, Mills and Randall the wide receivers, Eero Riley the tight end. Pierce, Rogers, Newell, Ivy, and Sullivan along the front with Justin Newell, all South Jersey player, at center. 3rd down for the Bulldogs. Item to throw, and he was going to be sacked for a loss by the Red Raiders' Vaughn Claiborne. He is a 255-pound junior two-way lineman and a good starting defensive series for Paulsboro High School.
We talk about the fact that there are very many similarities between these two teams. Both of them excellent defensive teams, and both of them play primarily the same type of defense, a 5-man front, 2 linebackers. They'll get great pressure on the outside, good down linemen who can get penetration in the middle, and you saw that time, number 59, Jermaine Ruffin from the inside with a sack.
Justin Newell, all-purpose kicker for Glassboro High School with a 4th down and about 16, and Glassboro will take a timeout. So no score just underway at Paulsboro High School. Glassboro unable to move the football in its first possession.
And besides the similarities that we'll see from these two teams on the defensive side of the ball, the quickness, the basic formation that they throw at you, offensively they're also very similar. As we have an opportunity to see Bob Cleary talking to his offensive troops out there. A little bit upset that they had a little bit of a breakdown, not enough players on the punt formation. But offensively, they're two very fine running football teams. They need to run the ball to be effective. The pass is a secondary thing. They set up the pass with the fine running game. And I think if probably either team had an advantage, as we talked about earlier, with the weather being what it is, it might be Paulsboro, because out of the I formation, they run north-south, where Glassboro likes to do a lot of the sweep action around the outside, which might be difficult today.
Richard Gaines at his own 46-yard line to receive Newell's punt. End-over-end kick. And Gaines will let it roll, gets a good Glassboro roll, and will roll dead at about the 33-yard line. So Paulsboro will have its first possession with 9:42 to play first period, no score. The umbrellas are out. Good crowd on hand, Steve, although not the crowd we anticipated, and I'm sure the rain has a lot to do with that.
Yeah, with a lot of the South Jersey teams playing up at Trenton and in the Meadowlands, this is maybe one of the feature games in South Jersey today. A lot of the diehards, as we will start to see them filtering in, circling this field right now.
Gabe Spitale, a senior, runs the offense for Paulsboro High School. The transfer from St. James has had a terrific senior season. And a handoff to Campbell, the fullback, and he bowls ahead for some yardage across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. This Glassboro defense with 7 shutouts on the season. They've had a terrific year. The Paulsboro starting offense, Gaines and Campbell the backs, Barry Green and Fred Sharp the wide receivers, Jamie Tarpley at tight end, Harbison, Claiborne, Trexler, Haynes, and Ruffin across the front for the Red Raiders. Campbell with a carry again, tripped up after a couple of yard gain. The tackle for Glassboro by Brian Ivy. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and 2 for the Red Raiders, looking for the first down of the football game.
Where's the Paulsboro team playing without Kevin Harvey, who's been their real central focus offensively for the past 4 years. And there we take a look at the Bulldog defense.
Rashawn Green, Pierce, Ivy, Newell, Payne across the front. Gary Bracken and Rogers, the linebackers. McConnell, Mills, Saud, and Moore, the defensive backfield for the Bulldogs. 3rd down and 2 call. And Campbell with the carry again. Big first down yardage near midfield to about the 49. So Campbell gets the call on 3 consecutive carries and gets the first down of the football game.
Lee Campbell out of that fullback position, 11 TDs on the season. As I was mentioning, playing without Kevin Harvey, this is a team that's really focused their offense on balance. Spitali with 12 TDs, Campbell with 11, Ruffin with 12, and Gaines with 11. It's a very balanced offensive attack, and as we heard the Glassboro coaches talking earlier in the week, a very difficult offense to defend.
Gaines with the carry. Gaines with some yardage across midfield before he is hammered out of bounds by Corey McConnell of the Bulldogs. So Paulsboro into Glassboro territory for the first time at the 46-yard line. Pick up on the play of about 5. It'll be 2nd and 5.
And of course, for any team to move the ball, the ground game that we will see with the Red Raiders, you have to be very strong up front with Harbison, Claiborne, Trexler, Haynes, and Ruffin. A good offensive line that all season long has just been very dominating, opened up some great holes for these running backs.
Gaines again, cutting it inside, has some room, penalty marker down. Gaines heading to the end zone. He's at the 15, the 10, the 5, knocked out of bounds at about the 1, but there is a penalty flag back at about the 47-yard line. This one could come back.
You have flags on the play.
Great run by Richard Gaines. Got down about the 1-yard line before he's knocked out of bounds, but this one will be called back.
Now the procedure penalty going against the Red Raiders. As you mentioned, a real nice run by Gaines down the sideline with somebody in motion. It'll be the 5-yard penalty against Paulsboro to bring this one back, but certainly getting off to a very quick start here. This is the problem that the Bulldogs had in their playoff victory over Woodbury. A slow start defensively, giving up 2 quick touchdowns, and you don't want to get behind early to this Paulsboro team.
Referee John Finelli making the call. This will back up the Raiders to their own 49-yard line, and it'll make it 2nd down and 10. So Gaines' long run to the 1-yard line is wiped out. We'll see that one again, Steve.
What's very upsetting as a coach is this is a procedure penalty. It's not anyone in motion, but they had too many men up on the line of scrimmage. And that really bothers you as a coach when you don't get the formation correct.
Run the draw with Campbell, and a terrific defensive play by Abdul Payne of Glassboro High School. And the loss back to the 44-yard line. That'll bring up a 3rd down and about 14 for the Raiders. Payne with a big play.
This is one of the strengths of this Bulldog defense is the pressure that they will get from the outside from their defensive ends. Abdul Payne, 3rd leading tackler for the season for the Bulldogs, 54. They're going to be playing without one of their defensive ends. Rashawn Green, another fine player on the defensive side. He's been replaced by Matt Clayton. So certainly a loss there with Green, although Clayton does a very outstanding job.
Green and Hamilton, the wide receivers, and it's dumped off in the direction of Hamilton, but an incompleted pass and a good defensive series by Glassboro as the long run by Gaines is nullified, and Paulsboro will have to punt.
Putting a lot of pressure on Spitali, as that time again we saw Payne coming in from the outside, forcing him to get rid of that ball a little bit sooner than maybe he would have liked, trying to set up the screen to the left-hand side. But as you mentioned, after the long run, the Bulldog defense coming up very big.
6:44 to play, scoreless first period. Campbell punting, drops it but gets it off. Good high kick. Scott waiting for it at the 22. He's a dangerous man in the open field, but good coverage downfield by the Raiders, getting their first. Troy Bennett, a freshman at Paulsboro High School. So neither team unable to dent the scoreboard on their first possessions. Glassboro will have another possession starting from its own 25-yard line. Paulsboro Red Raiders starting defense. Gerard, Reggie Lewis, Cowlness, Ruffin, and Tarpley across the front. They're 5 good ones. Linebacking crew, Lee Campbell, Jake Hoffman. And in the defensive backfield, Gaines, Ruffin, Claiborne, and Gabe Spitali. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs at the 25-yard line. much running room for Scott. So Kenny Scott gets no gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Certainly have an opportunity to see two of the finer offensive teams here in South Jersey. The Bulldogs averaging over 38 points, the Red Raiders 37. But even without the conditions here, I think this is going to be a defensive ball game. Probably two keys to this game is going to be turnovers and certainly field position. And I think both teams need to be conscious of the big play, which we saw from Paulsboro earlier.
Firing over the middle, it's tipped and intercepted. Intercepted by Jamie Tarpley. And on the tip pass, Paulsboro gets the ball back in Glassboro territory.
Well, the Bulldogs trying to catch Paulsboro maybe in some sort of blitzing situation, which would free up the area across the middle. You get them coming into the drop zone, trying to find, it looked like Tyrone Mills on a quick slant pattern, but they got an excellent drop from the linebackers. The ball's tipped and intercepted by the Paulsboro defense.
1st and 10 at the Glassboro 37-yard line. Gain with the carry, trying to cut it back inside. He'll lose some yardage. The first hit made by Matt Clayton. So this Glassboro defense we talked about with the 7 shutouts doing the job early.
Here we get an opportunity to see the interception. You see the linebackers getting an excellent drop. There's 2 defensive players there that are able to tip the ball up in the air.
It looked like Tarpley tipped it and then went back and got it. Quite a play by the very athletic Jamie Tarpley. Loss on the play of about 4. It's 2nd and 14 for the Raiders. Spitali. He got a big block, and Spitali with pretty good yardage. Tremendous block by Lee Campbell on Abdul Payne that sprung Spitali for some extra yardage.
Well, Payne had his sights on Spitali, who was able to get to the outside. It's the one responsibility of a defensive end is don't allow that quarterback to get out. And this is the one dimension that Spitali brings to this club. He's a very, very good passer, but he's an excellent runner. The 12 TDs on the season, as we mentioned, certainly speak for that. And there you saw the speed of Spitali once he got to the corner to pick up the good yardage.
3rd down and 5 after the pickup of about 9 by Spitali. Spitali to throw, good protection. It breaks down, tries to run, but he'll be dumped for a loss by the Bulldogs' Brian Ivy. And again, the Glassboro defense up to the task, and they'll force another Paulsboro punt.
A good penetration up front, Ivy on the sack, but there was good coverage downfield on the Paulsboro receivers. As we said, neither of these teams want to be put in a position where they have to throw the ball.
Campbell punting for Paulsboro, Scott deep for the Bulldogs.
Cover, middle.
Scott takes it on the run. A gutty play by Scott and breaks a couple times, makes a pretty good return. We'll take a break from Bennett Field and Paulsboro High School. No score in the South Jersey Group 1 championship game. Glassboro starting from its own 27-yard line with the 1st and 10. Bob Shryock and Steve Crispin at Paulsboro High School. Dark, overcast, rainy day for this South Jersey Group 1 championship contest. Brackett going absolutely nowhere. Tarpley leading the tacklers for the Red Raiders. Had a lot of help on the play. Also in on the tackle was Reggie Lewis. And it'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs are going to have a long day on the offensive side of the football if they're not able to get good production out of their fullback. Both of these teams, everything centers on the fullback. You need to get that fullback dive established to try to open up the sweeps to the outside.
Scott with the carry, trying to get to the outside. He gets to the corner and knocked out of bounds. The tackle by Jared Claiborne. Short gain on the play till about the 30. Pickup of 3. It'll be 3rd down and 7 for the Bulldogs.
I think both of these teams are going to have a very difficult time getting to the outside. Both defenses react very quickly to the ball. These cornerbacks, as we will see throughout the course of the afternoon, will come up very strong and provide good support to the outside. And especially with conditions being what they are, once you get to the corner, it's going to be very difficult to make that cut back upfield.
Possible passing down for Yitem on 3rd down and 7. He had his last pass intercepted. Back to throw. Has a man open. And the catch made for a long gain by Uriel Riley on a great pass by Yitem, as Riley clearly beat the defenders on that play, Steve.
But you mentioned a passing situation. There's no doubt the Paulsboro defense was set up for a pass. A real nice play fake in the backfield by Yitem. He does that exceptionally well to hold the linebackers, and I think he got the safeties to bite just enough to allow Riley to get behind into the defensive secondary, and he put that ball right on the money.
48-yard pickup on the connection, Yitem to Riley, and Glassboro with its deepest penetration by far to the 22-yard line, 1st down and 10. The pitch to Brackett. Brackett looking for some room, not much there for him to get a yard or two. The tackle made by Jacob Hoffman, senior linebacker for the Red Raiders. Got only about a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
There's no doubt the Red Raiders are keen on Brackett offensively. From the offensive side of the ball for the Bulldogs, Brackett coming into the game, 863 yards, 13 TDs. As we said, everything will start with him. That time they tried to get him to the outside with a little bit of a pitch. It was read very well by the Red Raider D.
Long count by Yitem. Scott with the carry. Scott breaking tackles. He is a tough man to bring down. A good run by Scott down to about the 10-yard line, which should be a 1st down for the Bulldogs. Good run by Kenny Scott.
Well, not a big ball player, 5'7", 150 pounds, and that's probably given him a little bit, but very quick, and as you mentioned, very difficult to bring down. Gets to the hole. He does a very fine job of following his lead blockers, which is the guards, which are point on that sweep. And once he sees an opening, very quick getting himself upfield to get whatever yardage he can.
1st and goal, the ball just inside the 10-yard line. Brackett straight ahead. He won't get much yardage on the play, maybe a yard.
Tackle by number 20, Marcus Ruffin, number 70.
Marcus Ruffin among the tacklers for the Raiders. A lot of help in the middle. Also, Jermaine Ruffin in on the play. So a gain of about a yard. It'll be 2nd down and goal. Late stages, 1st quarter, about 1:13 to play. So Glassboro with the best scoring chance by either team, other than that long run by Gaines that was nullified by penalty. Yitem with the throw. Scott trying to make the catch over his shoulder, can't do it. It'll be 3rd down and goal on the incompleted pass.
Looked like the Bulldogs were a little confused on their snap count as the ball came up to Yitem a little bit quicker than I think he was ready for it. Tough to pass the ball today. It's going to be very wet, very slippery. And of course, this is where it's difficult to move a football, especially when you're going up against a very strong defense. You get down inside the 10-yard line, everything becomes very compact.
Riley has been one of the favorite targets this year for Yitem, averaging 20 yards per catch. He had the big catch to set up the scoring opportunity. He's 6'4", a good target for Yitem, and they might look for him in this situation. 3rd down and goal, the ball at the 8-yard line. Yitem, back to throw, dumps it to Scott. One tackler missing. Another one, the ball is fumbled. And does Paulsboro have it? Paulsboro comes up with the fumble recovery. So Scott fumbles after breaking a couple tackles. And Reggie Lewis, the last man up off the pile for Paulsboro High School. So Glassboro's scoring opportunity down the tubes on the fumble by Scott. That's one problem that Kenny Scott has had, Steve, fumbling the football. A couple of fumbles in the Woodbury game as well.
Yes, it has been, and that's a real tough break for the Bulldogs. It's been very interesting to see what they would have done on 4th down. They have a nice field goal kicker in Justin Newell, so it's a big turnover for the Bulldogs as they had the best opportunity to score so far in this ball game.
1st down and 10 for the Red Raiders at the 13-yard line. Gain straight ahead, nothing doing there. Good job by that tough Glassboro defense as Payne, who's had a good first quarter, was in on part of the tackle.
2nd and 9.
2nd down and 9 coming up. 25 seconds of clock running.
15-yard line.
Now, Bob, we mentioned the two key factors being the big play and the turnover. We saw the big play from the Bulldogs as Riley was able to take the reception to get it down there in scoring position. And the turnover, certainly, Paulsboro picking up one of the interception from the Bulldogs and now the fumble from the Bulldogs, but also field position. And right now, a big key for Glassboro defensively, if they can hold Paulsboro here to 3 and out and force them to punt, they want to try to keep the ball down, certainly toward Paulsboro's end of the field. Put you in a position where you don't have to put those long drives together to get your opportunities to score.
Some confusion down on the field. They're going to put some time back on the clock. Apparently, they're saying 15 seconds. There's 8 showing on the scoreboard. So they're telling the clock operator, Ed Wright, up here in the press box, to put some time back on the clock.
15 seconds left in the first quarter. Time will be kept on the field.
They're going to keep the time on the field. Some problem with the clock, apparently. The pitch to Gaines, and Gaines is hammered again. That Glassboro defense really doing a job, Steve.
55.
Both defenses. Again, Payne leading the tacklers for the Bulldogs. And that'll do it for the first quarter. South Jersey Group 1 championship game. No score, Glassboro and Paulsboro.
Again, there are men and women's restrooms located on the back of the school, beside the maintenance building, behind the visiting stand.
A defensive struggle in the Group 1 championship game, Glassboro and Paulsboro. Start the second period with Paulsboro. They 3rd down and about 8 from their own 15-yard line. Bob Shryack along with Steve Crispin, and so far I think Glassboro has answered any critics that might have had about that defense, Steve. They're really doing the job.
They gotten off to a slow start against Woodbury in their first playoff game, but from that third period on, they became a very dominating defense, so we know what they're capable of doing, and they've really stepped it up here at the end of that first period.
Spitali to throw. Good protection. It breaks down, however. He's going to run with the football. Spitali breaks a couple of tackles, still battling, and he'll have the first down a lot more. Spitali, that is a feature of his game, his running ability that many were not aware that he had until the season began to unfold, but he had some great runs in the victory over West Deptford. Paulsboro's last game before this one. He's had a terrific season, Gabe Spitali.
He certainly has, and that's an excellent run. Not able to get to the outside, as you see there.
What a difference. Paulsboro offensive line averaging 236, and the Glassboro defense only 204. That's a big difference. First down and 10, Red Raiders at the 30-yard line. Straight ahead to Gaines. Gaines battling for some yardage. Brackett hauling him down with some help.
Number 32.
Gaines advanced to about the 34-yard line. Almost the 35. Pick up on the play of about 5. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
Well, the graphic that you were just looking at was a big question a lot of people had coming into this game. That size advantage up front of Paulsboro, but that quickness of the Glassboro defense, and that's really been their strength. All 11 players out there so quick to the ball.
Campbell straight ahead. Campbell will be close to the first down. He is hauled down on a good tackle by the Bulldogs' Buddy Rogers. And it is a first down for Paulsboro at the 40-yard line. So back-to-back first downs by the Red Raiders after blunting that Glassboro scoring opportunity on the lost fumble by the Bulldogs.
Well, Ruff and Haynes and Trex are doing a real nice job of opening up a fine hole over there for Campbell. With Paulsboro taking over deep in their own territory, real nice drive, as you mentioned here, to get it out of their own end.
Straight ahead to Campbell, and he's battling for about 4 yards to the 44-yard line.
And right now what Paulsboro is doing is they're setting up their outside game. One thing we have not seen up until this point is the option that they run very effectively. Now, they may not have it as part of a primary part of their game plan today because of the conditions, but with Spitali's fine running ability, they set up that dive and they get the defense to bite on that dive, and next thing you know, there's the fake on the inside, and then they run the option to the outside. Very tough to stop.
2nd down and 6, Red Raiders at the 44-yard line. Gaines with the handoff. Gaines getting to the outside. Hauled down, preventing a longer gain was Corey McConnell on a good tackle, but a good pickup by Gaines across midfield to the 48. And that'll be another first down for the Red Raiders.
Real nice play. They offset the fullback. Normally Campbell will be lined up right behind the quarterback, but that time they set him up behind the left tackle, and he's the lead blocker. And his primary responsibility is to try to take out the defensive end to allow Gaines to get to the outside, which he was able to do there to pick up the first down.
3 first downs on this drive by the Red Raiders. They're in Glassboro territory at the 48. Movement in the backfield. It looked like Gaines might have moved before the snap. Pretty much a penalty-free game so far, although one penalty hurt the Raiders after Gaines almost took it in the end zone.
And that particular play there had incredible potential. A little bit of a counteraction. As I said, you set up Campbell and you get the defense keyed on Campbell. That time they faked to him over the left-hand side, and they were going to give it back to Gaines over the right-hand side. So certainly the coaching staff is going to have to put that play aside, and I think we'll probably certainly see that sometime later on, but could be a very big play for them.
Paulsboro back at his own 47 with a first down and 15. They run the draw with Gaines. Gaines will get some good yardage. Tough to bring down. He gets it back across midfield. Pretty good pickup on the play.
On the carry.
Pickup of about the 5 that they gave up on the penalty. It'll be second down and 10.
Well, what we're seeing right now is this offensive line of Paulsboro really taking control of this game. They're getting off the ball. They're controlling their defensive counterparts, getting good holes opened up on the inside. And Paulsboro is really starting to get the running game clicking.
Single back game set behind Spitali on a second down and 10. Long count, maybe too long. That's a delay of game call apparently against the Red Raiders. So Paulsboro has definitely hurt itself with penalties today. The penalty on Gaines' long run that almost went into the end zone. Now 2 on this drive. So they're back to the 47 again with a second down and 15.
These are all little things in a ball game, but they are very, very important. Turnovers, penalties. Penalties create long situations. Now second down and long. Still maybe a running situation here. Got to be very reluctant to want to put the ball up in the air against this Glassboro defense.
Gaines going nowhere. Payne with the tackle. Also went on the play, Robert Pierce, and Abdul Payne has done quite a job in the first half, Steve.
Well, he comes hard from the outside. These are not your prototype defensive ends that you may normally see. A lot of times defensive ends, you want a tall guy, real big and strong, but Payne is almost like a running back. You may see him like as a cornerback position, but he comes so quick from the outside and Pierce from the inside, and the two of them able to get there on the tackle.
Loss of a yard, third down and 16, passing down for Spitali. Spitali fires it. It's intercepted by Saud. Saud down the sideline, knocked out of bounds, but a big turnover. The interception by LeBart Saud of Glassboro High School, and the Bulldogs back in business in Paulsboro territory.
Saud in perfect defensive position, read the play extremely well. He was right where he was supposed to be. You give a lot of credit to a coaching staff who all week long prepare their defense, and this is specifically for something like this. Spitali feeling the pressure, having to get rid of the ball, not getting a lot on it, and Saud stepping right in there, the little tip and the reception, and now to give the Bulldogs good field position deep in Paulsboro territory.
At the 26-yard line with a first down and 10. The handoff to Scott. Scott cutting inside, but that swarming Paulsboro defense does the job as Tarpley is in on the play. Also Hoffman over there. Lots of help. Marcus Ruffin with part of the tackle.
You're absolutely right, Bob. Right now, as you see, another...
Now Glassboro's offensive line, 235 across the front. Paulsboro's defensive line, 228. Not a huge difference there. Loss on the play of about a yard. Second down and 11 for the Bulldogs. Guide him to throw. Good protection. Dumps it to Brackett. Brackett with some room. Brackett breaks a tackle. Brackett heading to the end zone. Touchdown, Glassboro High School. Gary Brackett on a little dump pass from Yitem. And with 7:04 to play in the first half, Glassboro, the underdog, jumps on top of Paulsboro 6-0.
Well executed play. I don't think you could draw it up on a chalkboard any better than what we saw the Bulldogs run that. Nice play action in the backfield. Yitem, who, as we mentioned, is an excellent faker. Brackett getting out in the flat. It was not a screen. It was just an opportunity to get a Gary Brackett, a fine runner, out in the open. They got him the ball, and then with the open field to work with, he's not going to be denied. Justice
Newell, the kicker for the Bulldogs, out of the hold of Melvin Moore. And Newell will try to make it 7-0. Low snap, good by Moore, but they do not get it teed up, and it's blocked by the Red Raiders, charging in hard on the play. Marcus Ruffin along with Richard Gaines. So Glassboro jumps on top on this touchdown play.
We're going to see a couple fakes in the backfield. Watch number 32. He gets the first fake. They fake it to Scott, and then he slides out into the flat. There's no lineman out in front. Does a nice job of going down and getting the ball, but there's a lot of running room, and this is where you don't want a Gary Brackett out with that much room to run. Good speed for a fullback, and once he gets there, he sees the end zone, and he gets in for the score.
High steps into the end zone to complete a 30-yard scoring pass from Yitem, and Steve, Paulsboro, which is not used to being behind in a football game, finds itself down 6-0.
One game we had an opportunity to see Paulsboro early in the season against Woodbury. Tough, hard-fought game. Woodbury jumping out on top, and this team has been there before. They're well prepared. They knew what they were going to be up against. But it's a big turnaround for the Bulldogs, getting the interception, getting a good field position, and then the well-executed play for the score.
Newell kick off for Glassboro High School. Gaines deep for the Red Raiders, along with Anthony Scott. So Paulsboro in the strange position of being behind in a football game. Good kick by Newell. Excellent kick. It's Ruffin, and Gaines watching it go into the end zone. So Paulsboro will start from its own 20-yard line after the terrific kickoff by Newell. .7:04 to play in the first half. 6-0 Glassboro High School. Both teams 10-0. Glassboro winning the Classic Division of the Tri-County Conference, and Paulsboro, which has dominated the Colonial in the 90s, winning for the 4th straight time. So Paulsboro has to come from behind in this one, down 6-0. Gaines, Campbell, the backs behind Spitali as they start from the 20. Little slippery footing there as Gaines did not get a good start and may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. No gain, 2nd and 10.
Now we'll keep our eyes on this Glassboro defense. This is where they can become very dominating and have all season long. Once they can get up and they can really start firing off on the line, they can be awful, awful tough to move the football against. We've seen it's a tough team to run against, a tough team to pass against.
Spitali with the option pitch to Gaines. Gaines, good move. But look at that swarming Glassboro defense. They really go to the ball well. That's Brackett in on the tackle, sawed part of it. That's the feature of this defense, Steve, is the fact that they all swarm to the football.
And that was a very well executed play. You know, at the point of contact, Spitali coming down the line, the pitch to Gaines, there seemed to be a lot of room out here to the side. But as you said, it's a team defense, and they get to the ball so quickly. And that's that team speed, guys from the offside getting across, fighting off their blocks, and getting in there on the tackle.
Gain of only 1, 3rd down and 9. Spitali to throw, getting a big rush, and Dis dumps it off in the direction of Gaines, but big rush on the play as Buddy Rogers was in there quickly on Spitali. Also Brian Ivey, and anybody who had any questions about this Glassboro defense may have a different thought right now.
Well, that time Paulsboro trying to set up a center screen. They got a lot of pressure on the inside, but it was read very well as the linebackers held their position. Spitali, seeing that, just decided to throw the ball on the ground.
Campbell kicking to Scott. Good kick by Campbell as Scott takes it at his own 46-yard line. Scott trying to get to the corner, and the coverage by Paulsboro excellent as Scott manages only about a 5-yard return. We'll take time out from Paulsboro High School. The underdog Glassboro Bulldogs leading 6-0.
47 yards.
Glassboro with a 1st and 10 at the 47-yard line as the Paulsboro cheerleaders try to get the fans into the game a little bit. Good job by Tyron Mills breaking a tackle, getting at least back to the line of scrimmage. Looked like he might lose a yard or two. Tarpley in on the tackle.
Please take out your tickets, 50-50 tickets.
5:23 to play first half, 6-0 Glassboro.
You know, I don't know that we've given enough credit to this quarterback for Glassboro and say Yitem. He has been real effective this season, 39 for 67 passing, 647 yards, but has been a real effective passer his first year as a varsity quarterback. A long pass to Riley that set up a possible touchdown, and then the pass to Brackett for the score. And he could be a real key in this game if Glassboro is not able to run the football.
Yitem to throw, going deep, looking for Scott. Batted away, it's intercepted by Spitali, and he has some room, has some blockers. Spitali cuts it now to the opposite side, and still running, and drops. You know, he would have been better served, I think, to continue running this way because he wound up losing about 10 yards that he had, Steve, but interception and return by Spitali.
Well, it was defended extremely well by the Red Raiders. Glassboro trying to catch Paulsboro a little bit off guard, trying to sneak Scott up the middle, but it was defended extremely well, as I mentioned. There's the play action. You see Scott coming into your picture number 20. Yitem not able to get maybe as much on the ball as he would have liked, but Spitali coming across doesn't realize the ball is there, then picks the ball off and does a fine job of getting the ball upfield.
1st and 10 Paulsboro at their own 40-yard line after the interception by Spitali. Gaines straight ahead, Gaines with some pretty good yardage and extra effort getting him near midfield. Well, that's kind of a questionable spot, isn't it, Steve? Knee must have been down back at the 46 because he looked like he finished the play at the 49. 2nd down and 4 for the Raiders after the 6-yard pickup by Gaines. Gaines again. And not much doing. Middle of that Glassboro line. So tough. Rogers in on the play, as he seems to be on virtually every play.
Now the Bulldogs run out of a 5-man front just like the Red Raiders do. 3 down linemen. See 2 defensive ends will be in a stand-up position. Try to get good penetration out of your down linemen to try to keep linemen off of your linebackers. You want to allow your linebackers, in this particular case, Brackett number 32 and Buddy Rogers, to get in there to make the tackles.
3rd down and 3. And Campbell with good second effort appears to have the first down for the Red Raiders across midfield to about the 48-yard line. Late stages first half, 3:30 to play. Glassboro leading Paulsboro 6-0.
Well, they needed the first down, and they go over that big right side. Again, Haynes, number 68, Ruffin, number 59. Just a good surge. Campbell getting the ball quickly. And that's a good play offensively because it doesn't allow the defense the opportunity to react. A quick fullback dive.
Campbell hit at the line of scrimmage, bounces away for short yardage, hit initially by Robert Pierce.
Pierce with good penetration. It makes things a lot easier defensively when you can get your linemen in on the plays, either getting their hands on the runner, slowing them up, getting in on the tackles. And when we said with that defensive pursuit that they have, makes it tough to team to run against.
Gain of about 1 on the play, 2nd down and 9 at the 47 with 3 minutes to play in the first half. Raiders trying to counter the Glassboro score before halftime. Gaines, and an excellent tackle by Brackett. That is a terrific tackle by great two-way player for the Bulldogs, Gary Brackett.
Well, you saw a little bit of a shift offensively from the Red Raiders. They take Campbell, who's lined up in this fullback spot, kind of put him out in a wing position, and he's there again to get a good block on that defensive end to allow Gaines the opportunity to get to the outside. But without the fullback there, now your linebackers can key on the one lone halfback, and that's exactly what Brackett did. He read the sweep to his left-hand side and got in there for a fine tackle. 3rd
down and 8. Spitali fires it in the direction of Gaines, but incompleted as the big rush by the Bulldogs might have altered that pass. Payne in there, Ivy, also Pierce. We've heard those names the entire first half. They gave Spitali a big rush and will apparently force a Red Raider punt with 2:13 to play in the half.
It's a pressure defense. Rogers, number 55, was coming on the play. They don't want to allow Spitali the time to get an opportunity to look downfield.
Look at this 4th down call from the 45-yard line, Steve. Spitali back to throw, getting the big rush again. That's intercepted again. Intercepted by Robert Pierce. Again, a big rush by the Bulldogs. The gamble fails. We'll take timeout from Paulsboro High School. 6-0 Bulldogs.
1st and 10 Bulldogs at the Red Raider 48-yard line. 9-3.
2:08 to play in the first half. Glassboro with the football after the interception by Pierce at the 48-yard line. Brackett
on the carry.
and Brackett not going very far. Tremendous pursuit by the Red Raiders. Both defenses doing a terrific job. The first hit was made by Jared Claiborne of the Red Raiders. Gain of about a yard on the play to the 49, 2nd down and 9. What do you think of that gamble, Steve?
Well, it certainly is a gamble. Paulsboro having a lot of confidence in their defensive ability to kind of neutralize this Glassboro team as head coach Glenn Howard decided to go for it on 4th down, looking to set up the center screen, but Robert Pierce again read it very well. They're trying to allow the defensive rush to come to him and try to open up something in the middle, but Pierce stays back and is able to get there for the pickoff.
Item to throw, has room, has a man open over the middle, Riley. And Riley with 1st down yardage and a lot more to the 31-yard line, and Glassboro with time, 1:19 to go to get another one before halftime.
Well, Item doing a nice job again of looking the field over. I don't think Riley was his primary receiver. He wanted to look to the outside first, but then is able to find Riley wide open across the middle. Item 6'2" quarterback, able to see over that defensive line. Find Riley for the 1st down.
1:10 to play in the half. Item to throw again. Good time again. And the intended receiver on the play was Thomas. The ball was underthrown and defended well by the Red Raiders' Jacob Hoffman.
In the Bulldogs' victory over Woodbury in their semifinal game for Group 1, they became very effective when they opened things up with the pass, and they started to move the ball very effectively. And that's what we're seeing right now. The pass has been a very big part of their offense, and it's the one thing Paulsboro has not been able to do up until this point.
Defender on the play was Gaines, not Hoffman. It is 2nd down for the Bulldogs with 1:06 to play in the half. Item, big pressure, and he'll be sacked for a loss. Big play by the Red Raiders' outstanding Jermaine Ruffin, a 285-pound senior. He's been a terrific player all year long for the Red Raiders. Makes a big play here, sacking Item all the way back to the 40-yard line.
Well, Paulsboro's coming on this play. You're going to see a lot of pressure on the inside. Glassboro likes to utilize the play fake. Here you can see Campbell coming on the inside. They're not going to allow Yitem the opportunity to set himself and throw. He likes to be able to make 2 fakes in the backfield, drop a couple steps, and then have the time to look downfield. Paulsboro, a nice call defensively to put the pressure on and not allow him that opportunity.
3rd down and 19. The clock running, 20 seconds to go. Yitem has time again, but it breaks down, and this time, and Paulsboro comes up with the football. Scott, the only man that can drop the offensive player for Paulsboro, and what a big turnaround that was. That was John Calness with 6 seconds to go in the half.
6 seconds left to go in the 2nd quarter.
And John Calness, a junior, came up with a loose ball that looked like it was just dumped by Yitem, Steve.
That's exactly it. Glassboro looking downfield with time running out, maybe trying to go for the big play. Yitem feeling the pressure, trying to get out of the pocket, and looked like he was just trying to get rid of that ball. There we're seeing the sack on the play initially, but that time it is an effort to try to dump the ball off for the incompletion, not able to do that. And now is able to come up with the ball and take it down into Glassboro territory as the Red Raiders will have one opportunity to score here before the half. And boy, this could be a big turnaround.
A turnover is hurting both teams in this one, and that was one that that could really damage the Bulldogs if the Raiders can get this one in the end zone just before halftime. Just 6 seconds to go after Calness picked off the little dump off by Yitem. and returned it 37 yards to put Paulsboro in position to possibly score before halftime. So they'll start from the 22-yard line. This should be the final play of the first half unless there's a defensive penalty. 3 wide receivers to the near side. Spitali, the quarterback, back to throw. Good protection. Spitali and overshoots the intended receiver, Sherrard, and a good job by Glassboro in that play. End of one half from Paulsboro High School in the South Jersey Group 1 final. Glassboro seeking the upset 6, Paulsboro nothing. Justin Newell kicking off for Glassboro High School as we begin the second half of this Group 1 final game. Glassboro leading Paulsboro 6-0. Good kickoff again. Gains at the 12-yard line. And runs into his own man and goes down at about the 24-yard line.
First and 10, Red Raiders.
So the Red Raiders will have the first possession of the second half. And they were not real successful moving the football against this tough Glassboro defense in the first half, Steve Crispin.
They really could not put together any kind of sustained drive. There was times where they were able to get good production in their running game. Campbell was able to pick up good yardage in the first half. But every now and then it was either through a penalty or getting themselves in a third down and long situation when they had to throw the ball. And that's one thing they were not able to do effectively, was able to move the ball in the air. So they really were not able to get the good offensive drive and gear against this fine Bulldog defense.
Paulsboro in the unaccustomed position of having to play from behind, trailing only 6-0, but during this 50-game winning streak dating back to 1992, they have seldom played from behind. Oh, Spitali doesn't even have a chance to hand off on a big play by Brian Ivy. Oh, Ivy was in there quickly to dump Spitali before he can hand off.
Very possible that they're reading this Red Raider offense, seeing Campbell lined up again in that slot position to the right-hand side. They're reading run. Ivy on a quick slant to his left is able to get through that center guard gap and take Spitali down for the loss.
Loss of 3, second down and 13 for the Red Raiders. Spitali fires it over the middle. It's high. Intended receiver Barry Green incompleted. Third down and 13. Not much working for the Paulsboro offense.
Well, defensively, Glassboro's really getting it in gear. They got off to a slow start in this game. Gaines with a long run, which was nullified by a penalty, which was a big break for the Bulldogs defensively. I think that was kind of a wake-up call for them. And after the first couple series, realizing that they can play with this Paulsboro offense and they can stay with them, have really got it going. They're still getting excellent pressure in their front 5, and that makes a big difference.
3rd and 13, Spitali to throw. Better protection this time. Fires it deep, has Gaines momentarily open, and Gaines cannot hang on to it. He had the football, defended by McConnell, but it looked like a catchable pass. Incompleted, and Paulsboro will be forced to punt.
One of the few times Spitali has had the time to look downfield. Gaines coming all the way across the field from the right-hand side. Spitali doing a nice job with a wet football, getting it out there. Gaines making a nice adjustment on the play, but just not able to hold on.
Campbell punting to the dangerous Kenny Scott, who's about at midfield. Campbell, good punt. Scott fields it at the 48-yard line, looking for some blocking. And Scott down the right sideline, has a seam, and Scott still on his feet. Finally knocked out of bounds, but may have been out of bounds back upfield.
Got a few flags down on the field, right back close to where Scott took possession of that ball.
Well, he is so dangerous on those kick returns.
Well, you saw the speed down the sideline. He is so quick, it enables him to elude tacklers. As there we get the call, the clipping is going to go against the Bulldogs, and it will be back here, as he said, where Scott took possession. So where Glassboro might have had good field position, they will not now.
With a clip on here, 15 yards, spotted a foul, first down.
So Glassboro will begin this possession way back at its own 37-yard line when it appeared that the return by Scott would get them inside the Paulsboro 20. So the Paulsboro defense will have to be up to the test as Paulsboro trails this game 6-0. Guidham has had a lot of time to throw today. They've been fairly effective throwing the football. Brackett with the carry.
Brackett
Breaks a tackle. Brackett hammered out of bounds, but Gary Brackett, who has the game's only touchdown with a great run for first down yardage inside Paulsboro territory at about the 48-yard line.
Well, they have to find a way to get Brackett the football and get him running up on the inside. Normally the fullback dive. This time it's a lead over the right tackle. You get your halfback to get up into the hole first to try to open things up. Brackett able to break it to the outside to pick up that first down. Real nice opening play of this drive.
Ball at the 49-yard line. First down and 10, Glassboro. Fumble. And Paulsboro comes up with it. Turnovers killing both teams today. Another one against the Bulldogs, and Spitali, who already has an interception, comes up with the fumble. And now Paulsboro with good field position at its own 42-yard line. That ball's slippery. Steve been raining since well before the game and continuing to rain. We'll take time out. It's 6-0 Glassboro. Paulsboro football. They're at the 43-yard line. Spitali getting a big rush. Breaks a tackle. Penalty marker is down. Spitali still running. Knocked out of bounds. There's a penalty where there was some contact between Rogers and Spitali. The only thing I can figure there would be a face mask, Steve.
Yeah, Clayton, number 52, coming in from his left defensive end position. He had a good shot of taking Spitali down right away, not able to make the tackle, and then in an effort the second time, possibly reached up and got a face mask. Now, if it's at the spot of the foul, it'll be very interesting to see what would be most advantageous. Wow, now the Bulldogs are pointing.
Flags on the play.
Wow, how about this one? Face mask against Spitali, trying to fend off the defender, I guess.
Wow. And if it's at the spot of the foul, this is really going to take Paulsboro back. So what looked to be a nice game by Spitali is going to be nullified. And
big penalty against Paulsboro. Huge penalty. You rarely see a face mask the other way, Steve.
Well, you have the offensive player in Spitali trying to fend off the defensive player with a straight arm, which is a typical technique. You try to get the defensive player in the upper part of his body. The hand just getting a little bit too high. Clayton again with good pressure from the outside to get in there on Spitali.
The ball all the way back at the 15-yard line. Paulsboro has to get to the 48-yard line of Glassboro for a first down. Spitali to throw, going deep, looking for gains. Almost intercepted. Boy, that could have been trouble. Almost picked off by Melvin Moore, and had he gotten that one, Steve, he had clear sailing down the sideline.
Tough to throw the ball. Wet football, it's going to start getting heavier as the game goes on. Nice looking play as they try to find Gaines out here on the outside. Gaines slides over into the flanker position. And what you're trying to do there, Spitali's trying to find that area between the cornerback and the safety. But that time Moore reading it very well, reacting to the ball quickly, almost able to make that interception.
2nd and 37 for the Raiders from their own 15-yard line. Spitali to throw again, and has had Tarpley, but overshoots him. Incompleted pass. The pass defended by Melvin Moore. It'll be 3rd down and 37, and Glassboro defense making it tough for Paulsboro. What do you call on 3rd and 37, Steve?
Well, that last play was a real well-executed play by Paulsboro. Tarpley open across the middle, trying to find that seam behind the linebackers and in front of the safety. Ball just a little bit overthrown as Moore got there a little bit late to put the hit on Tarpley. I don't know that many people have a 3rd down and whatever here in their playbook.
37. Spitali again to throw. Good protection. And incompleted again. Tarpley. And this is going to be a late penalty. The official could not get the flag out of his pocket. Tarpley was the intended receiver. Pass interference, apparently the call.
That'll be 15 yards. I guess the question is it an automatic first down? Would that be big?
John Finelli making the call. He's the referee.
pass interference call goes against the Bulldogs. Automatic
Pass interference
for the Red
on
Raiders.
the defense. 15 yards. Automatic first down.
Boy, that is a big, big play. Paulsboro had a 3rd and 37 because of the pass interference. They wind up with a first down at the 30-yard line. A huge penalty against Glassboro.
And it's a play in which even if the reception had been made, it's not even close to being a first down. The Bulldog defense was there, would have easily made the tackle. So a swing of penalties here as the first one set Paulsboro way back, but now this penalty gives them that first down and new life.
And a little bit more running room. Gaines with the carry. Pretty good yardage. 5-6 yards.
A 6-yard
10:07 to play in the third quarter. Glassboro leading Paulsboro 6-0. Playing for the South Jersey Group 1 Championship. Pick up on the play of 6.
At their own
2nd and 4 at the 36.
Well, very important for Paulsboro to stay in this ball game. They got to keep their offense on the field. And they certainly do not want to fall behind 2 touchdowns. You see a little bit of concern on the face of Glenn Howard.
Gaines, nothing doing. Oh boy, that Glassboro defense. Matt Clayton, first in on the tackle. Also in on the play, the ever-present Buddy Rogers.
A good combination tackle there. Clayton, as you said, first of all, fighting off the blocks as they try to run that lead right in his area, is able to get in there, and then Rogers from that linebacker position, who read it very, very well, to come in there and finish off the tackle.
3rd down and 4 for the Red Raiders. No gain on the play. Spitali getting the rush again. He's going to get down. No time to get back and set up. Brian Ivy there first with a tackle. What a game Brian Ivy has played for Glassboro High School.
Well, early in the ball game, we saw the advantage that Paulsboro had across the offensive line in sheer size. But what you're seeing now is the Bulldog quickness. They're not only quick in the linebacker and their cornerback and safety positions, but they're extremely quick across the front line. And Ivy has been shooting those gaps all afternoon, and that time to be able to do it again to get in there on the sack on Spitali.
Campbell to punt again to Scott. Line drive kick this time. Scott likes to feel him. He won't let too many go. Scott has some room down the right sideline, pulled down, but inside Paulsboro territory again. I don't think I ever saw Scott not feel a punt, Steve.
Well, he's dangerous anytime he can get his hands on that ball in the open field. And there you can see the first meeting between these two teams.
Were you there at that game, Steve?
I think I missed that one.
Paulsboro leading 36-23-5, almost most of those games on Thanksgiving Day, and of course several of them Group 1 final games or semifinal games. Glassboro has done quite well in the playoffs, but Paulsboro has been a dominant playoff team. Guide him to throw, good protection. Nobody home. His intended receiver apparently was Dan Randall, but he was not within 10 yards of the football. 2nd down and 10.
Well, you see the Glassboro game plan, again, to keep this Red Raider defense off balance, using the passing game to try to open things up, as we see a little bit of work on the sideline to Claiborne. Seems to maybe have a cramp or maybe a strain. Is that possibly Ruffin?
That's Ruffin,
yes.
All South Jersey two-way lineman Jermaine Ruffin of the Paulsboro Red Raiders. 2nd down and 10, the ball at the 44-yard line. 8:12 to play in the third quarter. Yaden with the handoff to Brackett. Read very well by the Red Raiders. Maybe a yard to the 45.
Try to use the inside draw with maybe Paulsboro looking for pass, but no running room there as there's a loss of 1 on the play. And we said at halftime, the big difference has been the Bulldogs' ability to throw the football. They have a lot of confidence in Yaden as their quarterback. He's a smart quarterback. Reads the defenses very well.
3rd down and 11 for Glassboro. Yaden again to throw. Good protection. Fires it. Has Riley. Riley will be short of the first down. The reception at about the 35-yard line. And it'll be 4th down for Glassboro, and it looks like about a yard to go. So this is a big play in this football game coming up. 4th and 1 at the 35.
Nice play by the Bulldogs. They flood the zone to the left-hand side, Riley, the tight end, goes down 10 yards and out. The wide receiver, the flanker to the left-hand side, Mills, had gone deep into the corner. And then they run Scott in the flat, and they force the defense to pick one of the players to cover. They leave Riley open. Nice reception to bring up this 4th down and short.
Payne in the backfield now along with Brackett. And Payne gets the pitch, and Payne, I don't know, it's close. It's close. Might be short.
They have him marked right on the line, which will be about a yard short if that's where they place the football.
Boy, Paulsboro closed fast on that one, Steve.
Yes, they did. Putting Payne in the backfield, they put Brackett at the halfback position. So Brackett is the lead blocker. Payne with good speed to the corner. A little bit of a bigger runner than maybe Scott would be. But as you said, they closed the hole so quickly and able to get in there and stop Payne short of the 1st down.
Both defenses doing a terrific job today. Paulsboro taking over at its own 35-yard line. 6:48 to play, 3rd quarter. In this battle of 10-0 teams, Glassboro leading 6-0.
It's a big call by the Bulldogs there, going for it on 4th, and not electing the punt, maybe to create a very tough field position for Paulsboro.
Campbell with good second effort, getting some nice yardage. Still battling. Oh, what great effort by Campbell. He's, of course, one of the leaders of this Paulsboro team, and he's trying to take charge right now. And Campbell now trying to get the crowd fired up, raising his arms.
Here's a player who's been here before, a veteran who's seen a few of his own Group 1 championship games and doesn't want to come out on the short end. Was an extraordinary effort there not to go down.
Ball at the 45-yard line with a 1st down and 10 for Paulsboro. Of course, Lee Campbell, Steve, and all the other seniors in this Paulsboro team have never played in a losing game. Paulsboro last losing to Sterling in the 1992 season. So they have not played on a losing team. Red Raiders 1st down and 10 after the extraordinary second effort run by Campbell. Spitali loses a handle, but Spitali breaking tackles, and he'll have a great game. That almost a busted play of Spitali because of the loose football, nearly fumbling it away, but winds up with a 15-yard pickup for a 1st down at the Glassboro 40-yard line. Might be the spark they need.
Well, this is a nice-looking series, getting the ball in good position now with the running by Campbell and the running of Spitali here to pick up 2 consecutive 1st downs. They found some gaps in that Glassboro defense you want to hit quickly, and that's what Spitali was able to do, and some fine running of his own.
Long count by Spitali. Campbell again. Campbell with good yardage, about 7 yards across the 35 to about the 33.
Very difficult to run side to side against this Bulldog defense, but this is the one thing that the Paulsboro offense has been able to do very effectively, and that's take the ball and drive it upfield with their fullback dives. That time following the blocking of Ruffin again, number 59, their big right tackle, as he gets off the line of scrimmage, able to pick up good yardage on 1st down.
2nd down and 4 after the 6-yard pickup. And the play straight ahead by Marcus Ruffin, now in at the tailback position, and he is close to a 1st down. Now the Paulsboro fans who have been somewhat quiet in this game, thanks largely to the great play of the Glassboro defense, now coming alive as the Red Raiders have another 1st down. The call made by referee John Finelli. And a ball at the 30-yard line of Glassboro. Paulsboro has not had many scoring chances today.
No, they have not, and this is where their size up front can really take control of a ball game. They're getting a great surge up front. They're firing off the ball. They're controlling the line of scrimmage right now.
1st and 10, ball at the 30. Ruffin again. And Ruffin, a couple of yards. Marcus Ruffin, he is a senior, plays behind Gaines at the tailback position. Got about 4 yards to about the 26, 2nd down and 6, 4:30 to play, 3rd quarter. Glassboro leading Paulsboro 6-0, but the Red Raiders driving. Campbell again. Campbell. They're hollering moose. Moose every time Campbell carries the ball. And it looks like Campbell has another first down for the Red Raiders. Inside the 20 at about the 19-yard line. So this has been an impressive drive. Straight ahead power football mostly, Steve.
You know, emotion plays such an important part of a football game, and because this is a Group 1 team, many players playing on both sides of the ball, I think the stop on defense on fourth down has really lifted this offense, and I think emotionally it's taken a little bit away from Glassboro defensively, because I said many of the players are playing on both sides, and we're really seeing this offense of Paulsboro come alive.
Movement on the right side appears by Paulsboro. That'll be a costly 5 yards. So the Raiders will back up 5, and that'll be first down and 15.
Long count by Spitali usually indicates he's reading the defense and possibly checking off the play. It's something I think a number of times this afternoon he's been able to do successfully as he tries to find the weaknesses in that defense.
So the first mistake by the Raiders on this drive, first down and 15. Ruffin trying to get to the outside. Look at that pursuit by the Glassboro defense. Terrific play by Brackett and help on the play from Melvin Moore. That pursuit was tremendous. It looked like Ruffin had some room to the outside, Steve.
This is the strength, as we said, of the Glassboro defense. A very difficult team to get outside on because they are so quick to the ball. Paulsboro, when they've been most effective, have been giving it with the fullback and the halfback leads up on the inside. That time trying to catch Glassboro a little bit off balance, but not able to get there.
Second down and 18, ball at the 27-yard line. Spitali looking to throw and almost intercepted. Oh, could have been intercepted by Melvin Moore right in his hands. Incompleted pass. Spitali having some difficulty throwing the football today. It'll be third down and 18.
Well, they're trying to play action to try to hold the linebackers, but Brackett, number 32, he did not bite as he was able to get back into a drop zone. But it was Moore, as you mentioned, who came from his safety position and was almost able to get there for the interception.
2:46 to play, third quarter. Paulsboro with a third and 18. The option, but Spitali going absolutely nowhere. The swarming Glassboro defense does the job again. Robert Pierce, first among the tacklers, but he had plenty of help on the play.
The option to the right-hand side, that time coming down the line with the inside penetration. May want to look to pitch that ball, possibly looking to get it number 20, Ruffin to the outside. But again, with that swarming defense, Spitali not taking any chances.
Fourth down and 18 after this drive looked so promising for the Raiders. Spitali to throw, better protection this time. Fires it over the middle, and it's picked off. And he'll get back to the 11-yard line. The interception by Glassboro's Labard saw it. He might have been better served to knock that one down, Steve, but I think your inclination is to catch the football. Glassboro nonetheless holds again, and they take possession at their own 12-yard line.
Well, the penalty is very big in this series. When we had Paulsboro moving down the field, first down and 10, the 5-yard penalty setting them back with first and 15. And then the Glassboro defense came alive and came up with some really big plays in that last series.
Brackett and Scott, the backs behind you. And first and 10, Glassboro from the 12. Scott with the carry, trying to get to the outside, and will be knocked out of bounds by Claiborne. Pick up to about the 15, gain of 2, second down and 8. Clock stop with 1:54 to play in the third.
Yeah, Bob, I think this, although there's still a lot of time left on the clock, this is a very important defensive series for Paulsboro. You don't want to allow Glassboro the opportunity to move the ball here, pick up a couple first downs, and even if they have to punt, to get Paulsboro deep in their own end. It's a good opportunity here if they can get Glassboro 3 and out to take over possession of this ball with good field position.
Second and 8, ball at the 15. And Mills with some running room. He'll have first down on the trap play. Good run by Mills, getting Glassboro out of trouble with first down up to the 26-yard line. Good play, and Good faking on the play by Yitem, the quarterback, Steve.
Oh, you're right, Bob. A well-executed play against teams that pursue, like the Bulldogs and the Red Raiders do. Your counters and your traps in which you're changing the flow of the play really work well. And that time, Mills coming from his wingback position, everything moving to the right, he comes back to the left, did a nice job of cutting it back upfield to get that first down.
1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Scott with the carry, but
Scott on the carry.
he will not gain, maybe lose a yard in the play. Tarpley, one of the tacklers for the Red Raiders. Minute 20 to go, third quarter. 2nd down and about 11 for Glassboro. A classic defensive tussle today.
It has been, and you saw Scott on that last play. Covering that ball up, has 2 hands over the ball. Turnover is a very important part of this game also. They don't want to turn the ball over deep in their own end here.
So it's 2nd and 11 for Glassboro. Last minute of the third quarter. Straight ahead, good running room for Brackett. Brackett battling ahead and is close to a first down. Gary Brackett, he is fired up as he makes that 10, almost 11-yard pickup, and there may be a measurement for this one.
But we said everything's going to start at the fullback position for both of these teams. We saw Campbell, the last series for Paulsboro offensively, how effective he is running the football and how everything keys off him. Well, it's the same with the Bulldogs. Out of that wing formation, you have to have a good running fullback. And here in the Bulldogs, they have one of the best in Gary Brackett. Nice little trap blocking on the inside as he's going to have enough for the first down. Newell, the center, Ivy and Rogers, the guards, Pierce and Sullivan, the tackles, doing a real nice job on the inside to open that hole up for Brackett to get that first.
So Glassboro, which started this drive from its own 12-yard line, has back-to-back first downs to get out of trouble. And the first down carried by Brackett up to the 36-yard line. Clock running, 36 seconds left in the third quarter. Brackett straight ahead. Paulsboro defense doing the job. Campbell, Hoffman in on the tackle. And that could be the final play of the third quarter. So end of 3 from Paulsboro High School. Glassboro seeking the upset 6 and Paulsboro nothing. South Jersey Group 1 final, 12 minutes to play, and Glassboro leading Paulsboro 6-0 in the battle of unbeatens. On the line also, Paulsboro's amazing streak of 50 consecutive victories in jeopardy as this Glassboro defense has been absolutely tremendous. Steve, we might be in on history today.
We certainly may. As you said, none of these players here on the Paulsboro sideline ever experiencing a loss. But as we said, all of that has been put aside. It's this game today that's most important. 2 undefeated teams seeking that South Jersey Group 1 title.
2nd and 10, ball at the 35-yard line. Scott, met head on by Hoffman, also in on the play, Marcus Ruffin. It'll be third down for the Bulldogs and about 10 to go. Every defensive play becomes big for Paulsboro, Steve, because they're only going to have a couple more possessions, so they need to stop here.
And it's important, as we said, for the Bulldogs to protect that football. Number 20, Scott, having a very difficult time out there. I don't think he's going to make it off the field as they're going to have to stop and assist him as he comes off. The last play, they tried to run that sweep to the short side. It was read very well. As you mentioned, and Marcus Ruffin coming up from his cornerback position to make the hit.
Kenny Scott, a gutty player, 5'7". They list him at 150 pounds, Steve, but I have seen Kenny in person a couple times. He sure doesn't look like he weighs 150, but he's all heart. Tough competitor, Kenny Scott.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, the annual
averaging better than 5 yards per carry throughout the course of this season. As they're attending to him on the side, out there on the field. We mentioned this being a very important series, I think, for Paulsboro defensively. I don't think they can afford to really give up another first down. And I think the biggest factor is the fact that if they can force Glassboro to punt, they'll still maintain pretty good field position. They've had a difficult time moving the football. I think that last series, before the stop by Glassboro, the interception, was probably their most effective series in terms of running the football.
Steve, I'm not sure anybody knew how good this Glassboro defense was. They breezed through the regular season in the Tri-County Conference Classic, shutting out every opponent except one against Woodbury. Woodbury struck them with 2 first-quarter touchdowns to lead 12-0 before the Bulldogs battled back and win. But I thought the last 3 quarters of Glassboro's win over Woodbury and the first 3 quarters of this one really shows conclusively just how good this defense is. And look at the scores. Glassboro with shout-outs over every team they played except Gloucester, Pensgrove, Woodbury, and Clearview. Clearview battled them tough on Thanksgiving Day. So of the 10 games, they've shut out 6 opponents. And a possibility to make it 7 today. 3rd down and a little more than 10 for the Bulldogs as Scott goes off the field. Big play both ways. Paulsboro needs the ball back. Got him to throw. Fires it out. Good open field tackle. Excellent open field tackle by Jared Claiborne after the reception by Sod, and Glassboro will be forced to punt.
Claiborne reading that all the way out of a strong safety position in the flat there, covering his zone, able to come up and make the open field tackle to force the Bulldogs to punt.
Richard Gaines, the receiver for Paulsboro High School, he's dangerous, capable of taking one back. Newell, the punter. Gaines back at his own 35-yard line. Paulsboro trying to get good field position after this punt.
A lot of red shirts up there on the line.
Bad snap, but he gets it off, and it's a good high punt by Newell. Will go out of bounds, giving Paulsboro good field position, but just a nice job by Newell getting that kick off.
Well, fielding the bad snap as it rolls along the ground. As we said, they had 10 Paulsboro players up there coming hard, looking to maybe block that punt.
So the Raiders will, in fact, have excellent field position at their own 43-yard line, but they're running out of time. 10:36 to play. There are only going to be a couple more possessions for each team in this football game, and the Raiders cannot afford to waste many. Playoff records, Glassboro, one of the best in all of South Jersey, 22-6. Glassboro not bad either, 12-8. Campbell straight ahead, but not much yardage at all.
Tackle by number 58.
And the tackle by Brian Ivey. How many times have we called Brian Ivey's name today, Steve?
But he has really been a force defensively. And when you have a nose guard as a Brian Ivey in the position he's playing, it can really be a factor as he has been. It really makes things tough on your offense. Very quick off the ball, reads it very well.
Campbell only got a yard to the 45. 2nd down and 9. The Raiders need a big play. Gaines with the carry. Look at that pursuit by the Bulldogs. They strip the play and nowhere. The pursuit by this team is just amazing. In the tackle first, Corey McConnell, but you could see that coming, Steve.
Well, you had McConnell, the quarterback, who played that very well. Sawed, the safety, who came up very well. And against that team speed, it makes it tough to get outside on this team. Good penetration up on the inside to kind of drag that play out.
3rd down and 9. No gain by Gaines. 9:33, 9:32. Glassboro trying to end the streak. 3rd and 9 call for Spitali. Good protection, nobody open. Looking for Tarpley, and he can't come up with it. Triple coverage on Tarpley. He had Spitali with plenty of time to throw, but incompleted and very, very good coverage downfield by the Bulldogs.
Good play action. The Bulldog defense, they bit on the fake to the inside and gave Spitali a lot of room, but Paulsboro had 2 offensive players almost really down in the same area, which allowed the Bulldog defense to defend the pass. It looked like it was tipped right before it got to Tarpley as he was unable to hold on.
Mills deep now replacing the injured Scott as Campbell goes back to kick. Boy, this has been a titanic defensive struggle. Both teams playing well. Brackett's 30-yard scoring run for Glassboro at 7:04 to go in the 2nd period. The only score of the football game. Timeout on the field. And we'll take timeout from Paulsboro High School. Glassboro 6, Paulsboro nothing. Sod now the deep man for Glassboro High School. Campbell punting to him. Steve Crispin and Bob Shryock bringing you the South Jersey Group 1 final, and it's been a good one. Campbell with a line drive kick. Taken by Sod. Breaks one tackle. Pretty good job by Sod getting the ball back to about the 31-yard line. And the Paulsboro defense in a must-stop situation here. What Glassboro would like to do, Steve, would be have an extended drive in this situation, even if they don't score, to get 2, 3, 4 first downs and use up the clock.
You're absolutely right. The first downs are going to be very important here.
Since 1979, Paulsboro, Glassboro, and Woodbury have won all but one Group 1 championship. That's an amazing record. All three of those schools in Gloucester County. Florence over Burlington Township, the only exception to that rule in 1985. And Paulsboro has captured the last 4, shooting for 5 in a row, but that very much in jeopardy today. Injured Glassboro player down at about the 25-yard line.
You know, Bob, it's very difficult for us to see the effects of the weather here today as you get an opportunity to see the Group 1 titles that teams have won.
How about that? 16 of the 20 captured by Paulsboro, Woodbury, and Glassboro, all three, again, Gloucester County schools. So that is an amazing achievement.
As we said, talking about the conditions here, it was raining very hard at the beginning of the game. It has not let up. As we stand up here, we can't really appreciate, I think, how bad things are. There you can see how hard the rain is falling, and I think makes it more difficult for Paulsboro when they get this ball back, if they do, to be able to move the ball effectively. I think that's why it was such an advantage for Glassboro to get up in this ball game. That early score was so important.
Real muddy on the sidelines. I think the Paulsboro team might be a little bit stunned by what has transpired here today, Steve, because of the dominance of the Glassboro defense.
And then they've been dominating in just about all phases. The pass defense has been very strong. Their run, of course, defense has been very strong. There's been very few weaknesses that have been shown in that Bulldog defense that Paulsboro's been able to take advantage of.
So Glassboro starting this possession from its own 25-yard line. And they'd just like to get a couple of first downs, leading 6-0. Trying to use the clock. Bracket, but nothing doing in the middle of that Paulsboro line.
Tackle by number 84, Jamie Tarpley.
Tarpley in the tackle, also Jacob Hoffman. No gain in the play, 2nd down and 10. 8:46.
Probably going to see this Bulldog team playing it very safe here in this series. You're not going to see anything too fancy. Right now, you have Scott out of the ball game. Sod has replaced him in the halfback position. Probably see Brackett carry the ball an awful lot. They want to keep that clock running.
Long count there, using every second. The ball is loose. The ball is loose. And Glassboro able to cover.
Recovered by the Bulldogs.
Well, that could have been a big play, but Glassboro recovering the fumble. And Yigham, the quarterback, is really hot. So Glassboro recovers the fumble on the snap, and it'll be 3rd down and about 10.
Yes, Yigham must have recovered his own snap because I didn't see him come up with the ball, but he's very upset. Probably upset at maybe what happened down there in the pile is when that ball is loose, everybody's going for it. But as conditions continue to get worse, the ball's going to get very slippery.
3rd down and 10. They're all big plays now. This is another huge one for the Paulsboro defense. They got to get the ball back for the offense. Get him to throw. And protection breaks down, and he is hauled down. The sack by Ruffin, the all-South Jersey lineman, Jermaine Ruffin. Glassboro will be forced to punt, and the Raiders should emerge with good field position. I want to thank Don and Bert's Custard Stand for the sandwiches provided for the game today. We always appreciate what they do for us.
For the Bulldogs, at their own 15
So a big sack by Ruffin.
For the Raiders, number 19,
Glassboro forced to punt. 7 minutes to play with the clock running. Gaines back at the 45-yard line.
Tell you, Bob, that sack is big. That's 10 yards back. The ball has been placed. It's 10 yards less. And Paulsboro will have to move the ball offensively.
Noel, the kicker. Bad snap again. Picks it up. Almost blocked. Good job again by Ruffin. However, Paulsboro is going to have tremendous field position with 6:36 to play. A couple of bad snaps on punts of Forrest Newell to make short hops and not get off real good kicks. Not his fault.
Well, we said field position was going to be a key, and it's a key right now as the Paulsboro defense comes up very big, forcing the Bulldogs to punt. The sack on the item.
Ball at the 29-yard line of Glassboro. Paulsboro in great shape to take it in. Single back behind Spitali is Campbell. Long count by Spitali. Looks like they're going to just try power football, Steve, with Campbell. Campbell, good yardage, cross at 25. That looks like the strategy, Steve, if they continue to use that single back set.
Well, it gives them two tight ends, which gives them strength on both sides of the field, allows them to run to ball either to the right or to the left. And it doesn't get very much better than this. The Paulsboro offense out on the field against one of the best defenses in South Jersey.
Campbell got 6, 2nd down and 4. Ball at the 22-yard line. Now they're back to the two-back set with Ruffin. Ruffin with the carry straight ahead, and Ruffin is hauled down after a short gain. He will not get the first down. Melvin Moore in on the tackle, but a lot of help as usual. They're always bracketed on the play. Glassboro always seems to have 4 or 5 tacklers. He did get 2. It'll be 3rd down about 1.5 yards. 5 minutes, 35 seconds with the clock running. 3rd down and about 2. Let's see if Campbell gets the call here. Long count again. Whoa, boy. They do get it off. Campbell with the carry and the first down. Campbell with the carry over the right side. Good blocking. And the Red Raiders have the first down at about the 16-yard line. 5 minutes, 14 seconds. What a tremendous South Jersey Group 1 final. Glassboro trying to end the streak, leading 6-0, but Paulsboro driving. The pitch to Ruffin. Ruffin cuts it back inside, not going very far. Boy, that pursuit is amazing. There you saw it again. Payne in on tackle, injured Glassboro player down who also had part of the tackle.
Well, number 5 saw it getting up the field very quickly, forcing Ruffin to try to string that out a little bit further. They have not been effective going to the outside, doing such a good job on the inside, trying to catch the Glassboro defense a little bit off guard.
Corey McConnell, who's played such a terrific game defensively, the injured Glassboro player, and he was in on that tackle, but injured on the play. Having a little bit of trouble reading that graphic. 22 seniors, 8 juniors, 10 sophomores.
Ladies and gentlemen, people in the stands.
Difficulties with the information on the screen. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for Paulsboro as the Glassboro defense up to the task again. A little surprised they went away from the straight ahead play, Steve, that has been working best for them today. They have not been successful running either side. Well, making the grade, as you can see, Paulsboro, a decidedly younger team than Glassboro, a senior-dominated Glassboro team, 22 seniors. 2nd down and 10 for the Red Raiders. Spitali is hit from behind and dropped. He's sacked. Payne again in on the tackle. Also, Buddy Rogers, and the quickness there just beating Paulsboro off the ball, their defensive line.
You know, that time, Bob, a good job by the Glassboro coaches. They changed things defensively. Instead of having the 3-down lineman, they put Rogers, number 55, as a down lineman, a 4-man front. And I think they caught the Red Raiders a little bit off guard as they got excellent penetration there on that sack.
3rd down and 15 for the Red Raiders. Spitali firing it over the middle, and it's incompleted. Good coverage. Penalty marker is down. Mills apparently will be called for the interference. It looked like he made a good call. Must have been over the back of the Raider intended receiver. What a big play that would be, Steve.
That is a huge play. Again, it'll be 15 yards, half the distance to the goal, and an automatic first down. It would have been 4th down and 15, but on the penalty there, which, as you said, is very, very close. Of course, we don't have the vantage point that that referee does down there at that end of the field, but they were looking for the quick hitter across the middle. As Gaines looking for the slant, ball was a little bit high.
First and goal for the Raiders.
So Paulsboro will have a first down. First and goal, Steve, or is it outside the 10?
Well, the chains are still up. I think the chain is right next to the goal line, about 6 inches from the cone. So
they can get a first down. First and 10, ball just outside the 10-yard line. 3:52 to play. Long count again by Spitali. And Spitali is dropped again at Paul. Let's see the penalty, Steve.
Here's the slant across the middle. Spitali having time. So we're going to see it from the end zone camera. There's the ball. You're going to see the defensive player, Mills, coming from the back. Looked like 2 players going for the ball, but looked like he was going through the play. I'll tell you, Bob, that last play was big for the Bulldogs. Buddy Rogers, number 55, again coming from that down position, getting in there, takes Spitali down for the loss.
Gaines with the carry. Gaines still on his feet down the sideline. He's close. Not in. We cannot see it. He's close, Steve.
Well, he's not in for the score, but what a great call. With the Bulldogs stacking things up on the inside, the Red Raiders take it to the outside, and Gaines gets the running room. He's about a yard short of a first down as we see the marker across the field. It's got to be sitting on about a 1.5-yard marker. It's 3rd down and about 1. They can get a first down. Here you see Gaines. He gets to the corner. This is something that the Red Raiders have not been effective doing all day as Moore comes in for the tackle right in front of the cone.
Melvin Moore saved the touchdown, but it is 3rd down and less than a yard. The ball just outside the 1. They can get a first down without scoring. Time is out, 3:15 to play. What a tremendous high school football game with so much riding.
Well, the Glassboro defense had been coming up very big. They had been putting a lot of pressure on the inside. And I think Paulsboro caught the defense a little off guard, running to the outside to the short side of the field.
We'll take time out. Be right back from Paulsboro High School. Third down and about a yard, a little less than a yard for Paulsboro for a first down, and about a 1.5 yards for a touchdown. I can't see them giving the ball to anybody but Campbell in this situation, Steve. But no, Ruffin gets the ball, dives. Is he in? Yes, touchdown Paulsboro. Ruffin from the 1.5-yard line with 3:09 to play. Late call by the official, but once they unpiled, Ruffin was in the end zone, diving in for the tying score. It is 6-6, and now the all-important extra point.
Well, it can't get any more important than this. Great dive by Ruffin to get in the end zone to break that plane.
So Paulsboro scores with 3:09 to play on Ruffin's 1-yard carry. And now Paulsboro will try to get the go-ahead point from Vernon Sharper by placement. He is a sophomore. Steve, possibility of overtime if he misses this. Somebody moved, penalty on somebody, as Glassboro's Corey McConnell was in there quickly from the right side. If this moves it closer, they may change the call. It's against Paulsboro. Oh boy. The Raiders called for the penalty, apparently drawing McConnell off sides. It's against Paulsboro.
Well, the Bulldogs trying to anticipate. They're going to have 11 people coming trying to get to the block. There you can see the rain and how heavily it's falling here. It's going to make it very difficult for the snap and the hold.
So this is a 25-yard extra point by Sharper. And Paulsboro wants to take a timeout. The timeout called by Claiborne, who is the holder. We'll take timeout from Paulsboro High School. 6-6. with 3:09 to play. That can't be much more exciting than this. Glassboro with the only first half touchdown by Gary Brackett, a 30-yard run, 7:04 to play. And here at 3:09 left in regulation, the 1-yard dive over the middle by Ruffin ties it at 6. And now we are waiting for the extra point. Timeout was called by Paulsboro. It still appears that they're going to go for the conversion kick. Sharper will have a 25-yard conversion kick out of the hold of Claiborne. Never a bigger kick in his career. High snap, it gets it down. Sharper, no good. No good off to the right. And Steve Crispin, strong possibility of overtime.
Well, certainly strong now as the score was 6-6, all tied up. That ball, as everybody just held their breath over here on the Paulsboro sideline, just goes to the right, missing the upright. I know Vernon Sharp, the young sophomore, very upset, but certainly the conditions here this afternoon make it very, very difficult, if not almost impossible, to get that ball up in the air. That ball must weigh about twice what it normally would weigh in dry conditions.
3:09 to play, 6-6. Glassboro and Paulsboro, 10-0 teams battling it out today, and as good a defensive football game as you're going to see, Steve, ever. Sharper very disappointed with himself that he didn't make that kick.
Well, that was a very impressive drive by Paulsboro. They got good field position, as we mentioned, and came up with some really big plays. Campbell early in the series to take the ball down inside the 10-yard line, and then it was a nice run to the outside as Rich Gaines took the handoff and just almost got in, and it was Ruffin in for the score. But a real impressive series against this defense, which didn't look like it was going to be giving up any points here this afternoon.
Reggie Lewis will kick off for Paulsboro. Kenny Scott injured earlier in this quarter, back in the football game for Glassboro. He is so dangerous. We'll see if Lewis risks kicking off to him. Scott was limping when he came back in the field, however.
Tell you, Bob, very interesting decision from the Glassboro side. When you take possession of this ball, are you going to look to try to get it down the field and score, or are you going to try to maybe play it safe and work for overtime?
Good kick. Scott will let it go into the end zone for the touchback, and it'll come out to the 20-yard line. So the Glassboro offense has 80 yards to go and 3:09 to do it. And now the Glassboro defense, Paulsboro defense against Steve, will be in a situation where if they make a stop, they may give the Raiders another chance in regulation. Penalty marker is down.
On a kicking team, 15 yards from the 20-yard line, and it'll be a first down.
Big penalty, personal foul call against the Red Raiders on the kickoff. And instead of starting from the 20-yard line, Steve, this one will come all the way out to the 35.
And you're right, Bob, and the factor that plays in is if indeed Paulsboro does hold Glassboro here, force them to punt, they're not going to get that good field position that maybe they would have gotten without that penalty. It also might provide Glassboro the opportunity to maybe open things up here on offense and try to move down for the score with 3 minutes left.
Scott back in the ball game at running back along with Brackett. 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line after the penalty. Yidem getting a big rush, and he will be sacked. Yidem sacked. Ruffin in on the play. Jermaine Ruffin also with part of the tackle. Solomon Sherrard for Paulsboro High School. Big loss on the play. Back to the 22-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and about 20.
Be surprised to see the Bulldogs try anything else but play it safe right now. Paulsboro wants to maybe use their whatever timeouts they have left, force Glassboro to punt. The Bulldogs have had a tough time punting the football the last 2 times.
Scott with the carry, slipping on that wet turf, and he'll be thrown for a loss by John Calness. Hoffman helping to finish off the play. 3rd and long coming up for the Bulldogs. Clock running, 2:15. And now Paulsboro does, in fact, take one of its remaining 2 timeouts. They want the ball back, and they could get it back in good field position.
story of this game right now has been the way in which this Paulsboro defense has come alive. As you can see the conditions on the sideline, this field being reconditioned last year has a great crown in it. A lot of the wood are draining, so conditions on the field as far as footing is concerned is not as bad as what you see. But as I said, the defense for Paulsboro has really come alive. The series prior to this one, forcing Glassboro to punt after the quarterback sack, and now again forcing Glassboro back. You got about a third down and very, very long, 20-some yards to go.
Kenny Scott, Steve, limping off the field again badly this time, and they can ill afford to lose him at crunch time like this.
Now you said if we go overtime, that's an element that they would not have available to them.
Raindrops keep falling, and I tell you, the umbrella's getting a workout today. Good crowd on hand despite the foul weather. Big third down and 21 call coming up for Yitem in the Glassboro offense. Yitem to throw. Big pressure and throws, and that's going to be a penalty against Yitem as nobody was anywhere close to the football. That will be intentionally grounding, and boy, that's a big play, Steve.
These are big plays. Number one, it stops the clock. Number two, you have a loss of down with the intentional grounding. It's going to move the ball back. And now Glassboro's got to be very, very concerned about this punt, and there's still a lot of time left on the clock. Now remember, Glassboro had this ball first down from the 35-yard line. The ball is now going to be sitting on about the 10-yard line when they go to snap this ball.
And 30 for the Bulldogs.
And Paulsboro has gotten a good rush in the punter the last 2 or 3 times, Steve. That might be something to look for here. Newell, the punter, gains back only at about the 33-yard line. Better snap and a good punt by Newell. Gaines at the 31, drops the football, and he'll lose yardage. Gaines backs up on that play. That hurt him. That cost him what, about 7-8 yards, Steve?
Well, a nice punt by Newell. He gets the ball and immediately got rid of it and really got the ball out there. As you say, Gaines able to make the reception but not able to run. Had a little bit of room, it looked like initially. So good job of coverage by the Bulldogs. 2:01 left here. But Paulsboro in an excellent situation here to try to move the football.
Well, we'll see if they keep it on the ground or try to strike through the air. They do not have the kind of ground game that usually gets long runs. Campbell straight ahead, not a whole lot of yardage. Covered on the play by Buddy Rogers, who has a ton of tackles today. Pick up to about the 40-yard line, gain of 4 in the play, minute 45, 5 clock running. Spitali fires it over the middle, bad throw. Spitali having trouble hanging on to the football, it looks like, Steve. And it's third down and about 6 for the Raiders, 3rd and 7.
It's got to be almost impossible right now. I know they're doing the best job they can to keep footballs dry, but with the rain falling as it is, and as I said, it's got to be very slippery, very heavy. And of course, right now, Paulsboro's got to be really careful. You don't want to throw an interception out in the flat there and give someone an opportunity to return it for a score.
Now, Glassboro wants a timeout with a minute 40 to play, and a big third down call coming up for the Red Raiders of Paulsboro High School. We're tied at 6. Glassboro scored on a bracket run of 30 yards in the second quarter, and Marcus Ruffin with a 1-yard carry for a touchdown for Paulsboro here in the fourth at the 3:09 mark. That's where we are, 6-6. If the teams finish 6-6, we go to overtime. Paulsboro, with its undefeated season, 4th consecutive undefeated season, tested by Woodbury early, 28-21. But other than that, the Red Raiders have pretty much soundly beaten every opponent. The last 3, Collingswood, Burlington, and West Deptford by 146 points to only 35. So they've really been on their game the last 3 times out. Minute 40 to go with a third down and about 7 for Paulsboro. Spitali, better protection this time. Looking deep. Has Sherrard momentarily open, almost intercepted. Nearly picked off by Sod, who already has 1 interception today, and that makes it a 4th down and about 7 for the Red Raiders with a minute 34 left in regulation.
Doesn't look like Paulsboro's going to take any chances as they send the punt team out there. Try to keep the Glassboro team pinned.
So they'll hope for some kind of a turnover. Campbell punting. Saw it in there deep as Scott is off injured again. Campbell. Good punt by Campbell, and Saw it intelligently just lets it go. It goes into the end zone, and Glassboro will start from its own 20 with 1:26 to go. Now, Glassboro, Steve, can ill afford to get fancy in this situation. You would think, pinned back in their own territory at the 20, that they might want to consider trying to run out the clock.
I think both teams have pretty much decided that that's the direction that they're going to go. Paulsboro not going for it on 4th down. Glassboro right now taking over on the 20-yard line. Not very effective in their last series as they started on the 35 and got back way up over to the 10. And right now, let's let the clock run out. Paulsboro with no timeouts left, I don't think. And let's go to overtime.
Saw it in the backfield now along with Brackett. And they'll go with Brackett right up the middle. He'll get a couple of yards.
Brackett on the carry.
Both defenses have just been stellar today. Both have been outstanding. Can't say enough about him. Brackett gets about 2 on the play, 2nd down and 8. With 1:07, the clock running. And this game is destined for overtime unless Glassboro offense makes a serious blunder in this situation. 2nd and 8 for the Bulldogs. Saw it with the carry, spinning. The ball is loose. Does Paulsboro have it? Oh my, Paulsboro comes up with a loose ball. The recovery, I believe, by Marcus Ruffin, who scored the touchdown. 40 seconds to go, and what a break for Paulsboro, Steve. Injured Glassboro player. The last thing, I just talked about a blunder. They don't want a serious blunder, and that's exactly what they did.
Well, they're trying to run the ball and trying to get yardage. Saw it trying to pick up the extra yards, spinning and fighting. And a lot of times when that happens, you have a tendency to lose control of the ball when really that's the most important thing right now. And it was Justin Newell who's down on the field. Although he's walking off, they can certainly ill afford to lose him. But right now, Paulsboro will have a couple shots at the end zone. It's going to be a sweep to the left-hand side. And you're going to see Sawd. It's a little bit of a hole there over that left-hand side, but he's met, and they're in fighting for that extra yardage. The ball is knocked loose. And I guess that's Ruffin.
Campbell with some yardage. Gets it down to about the 15. The clock running 31 seconds. Paulsboro lining up quickly. They stop the clock with 30 seconds to go. It is getting really dark, Steve. I don't know whether we're going to be able to see it overtime if we go to overtime.
At the 15-yard line with 30 seconds to play.
Ball at the 15 there, measuring for the 1st down. It'll be just short. It'll be 2nd down for the Raiders. 30 seconds to go. They are at about the 15-yard line. Paulsboro trying to win it in the waning seconds of regulation. Gaines, Campbell, the back behind Patali. Straight ahead, and that's a 1st down for Campbell. 26 seconds. Now they got to line up. They'll move the chains. 1st down at about the 13-yard line. Straight ahead to Campbell, but that's only going to get him a yard or two. 15 seconds, 14 seconds. They got to spike the ball or do something here. 10, 9 seconds, 8. Spitali spikes it with 7 seconds to go. What a finish to this football game, Steve. I think they're going to try a field goal. Wouldn't this be something? What a way to end it if Paulsboro can make this field goal attempt with 7 seconds to go in regulation.
Well, they did a good job of moving the football. Campbell with a couple runs and able to pick up the 1st down.
Now, Reggie Lewis, I believe, is going to be kicking this one. He is the distance field goal kicker. And the spot is going to be at about the 22-yard line, Steve. It looks like it's going to be a 32-yard field goal. And Reggie Lewis, if he makes this one, will be a hero for a lifetime in Paulsboro, Steve. This is some pressure. Now Glassboro wants timeout, I guess, to ice Reggie Lewis. 7 seconds to go. If Lewis misses this one, maybe time for one more Glassboro play, but then in all likelihood, overtime.
And as you mentioned, Bob, it has gotten very, very dark here. We really can't appreciate how dark it is on our TV screen. But Lewis, who does kick off, and we have seen him kick a lot of these kicks well into the end zone, so we know he has the strength.
Absolutely.
It's just going to be a matter of whether or not they can get the snap and they can get it down and give him an opportunity to get that ball in the air.
Lewis is a junior, 215-pounder.
I tell you, Bob, this second half, we have really seen the heart of this Paulsboro football team. Down going in at halftime, many, many times throughout the course of this half, it didn't look like they were able to really get things together, but their defense kept them into the ball game by shutting out this Glassboro offense in the second half, and now here they have an opportunity in the last seconds to win this ball game.
Claiborne the holder, Lewis the kicker, spot at the 22. 32-yard field goal.
The kick is up.
That's the kick is good! Reggie Lewis scored on a 32-yard field goal with 2 seconds to play, and the Paulsboro players and spectators going crazy. Reggie Lewis, a 32-yard field goal to make it 9-6 with 2 seconds to play. And Steve, the Glassboro players who have battled so hard are stunned.
Unbelievable. What a turn of events. As Paulsboro plays it absolutely perfectly. There you see how difficult it is.
That was Abdul Payne, who's played such a tremendous football game. So all Paulsboro has to do now is keep it right on the ground. Here it is.
Well, they got the snap, they got the hold, and they got the kick. Everybody's saying, keep your head down. He got everything into that ball, and it was just enough to get there as it sails through the uprights.
Unbelievable. Steve, this has been one of the greatest high school football games I think I've ever seen.
And it's been, again, that Paulsboro defense which has really taken over here in the second half and has given their offense the opportunities that they needed to move the football. Bob Cleary on the sideline there. I don't think he can believe what happened.
Got to feel for Bob Cleary. You got to feel for that guy.
And certainly for this whole Glassboro team, riding an emotional high this season, coming in here with that undefeated, their goal of 11-0, and it was there. But as we said, this Paulsboro team has been there before. The tradition, the history, certainly feeling the pressure. And if they're able to hold on to this victory, this is going to be a game that's going to be long, long remembered by these Paulsboro fans and certainly these football players down on the sideline this afternoon.
Paulsboro incurred a 15-yard penalty, Steve, and they are going to have to kick off from their own 25-yard line, I believe. But they're just going to kick the football on the ground. That's all they have to do and get the clock running. They cannot risk a deep kickoff here and risk Glassboro bringing it back for the touchdown. That's really the only way they can lose, Steve.
Well, Glassboro possibly could grab the ball, go to the ground immediately to not allow any time to go off the clock, or they can take their chances and say, listen, if we're going to have a shot, we need to do it with a kickoff return.
Reggie Lewis, the official distance on the kick, 31 yards. It has put Paulsboro in front 9-6 in an improbable football game. Boy, I tell you what, this has been one of the most courageous efforts, Steve, I've ever seen by a losing team, assuming that Glassboro loses this 9-6. But what a hard luck way to lose a football game. And of course, the fumble set it up late.
It certainly did. When you look back, it was a fumble which was a very big key. It gave Paulsboro the field position and then the one first down that put them in that field goal position.
Lewis kicking off. Let's see if he just tries to run it along the ground or whether he kicks it deep. Kicks it low. And it goes right through Sod. Sod will pick it up. He's got to score. The football game's over unless there's a penalty on Paulsboro. Sod still running. But he'll be tackled, and that'll be the football game. Paulsboro on a 31-yard field goal by Reggie Lewis with 2 seconds to play, defeats Glassboro 6-1 and wins its 5th consecutive Group 1 championship. We'll be back after this. Final score, Paulsboro 9, Glassboro 6. As good a high school football game as you're ever going to want to see. And Lee Campbell, one of the big leaders on this Paulsboro team, my guest. Lee wears jersey number 44. That has a lot of significance. He played in 44 high school football games, won all 44 of them. Lee, congratulations.
Yes, thanks. I just had nothing to say. A great game, 44-0. I don't know what to say. There's nothing I can say. Just a great win. Hard-fought game. Just beautiful.
Did you know they would be that tough, Lee?
Oh, yes. They had a dogfight with Woodbury. They won it 13-12. We knew it wasn't going to be no cakewalk, no nothing. We knew it was going to come down to last second.
You had a lot of trouble running on the outside on them, so you had to keep it inside as much as possible.
Yes, they got a lot of speed, very lot of speed. We just try to keep it in the inside until they try moving outside, then we go outside, just things like that.
First 3 quarters, you guys had difficulty getting you even close, but you pulled it out with 9 points in the last quarter. Did you help keep the team together in the huddles?
Yeah, we said we had to reach down since August 27th. Just think about what we had to do. Paulsboro pride. Just reach down and grab it.
Of course, you knew Reggie Lewis was going to make that one, right?
Well, we practiced on. He'd been practicing on that all year, ever since August 27th. He'd been practicing them long field goals, and we know if it came down to that, we'll put him in.
Lee, not many guys can say they played in 44 straight winning high school football games. You had a great career. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lee Campbell, one of the true leaders, Steve Crispin, of this football team, and he conceded that was a great Glassboro high school team they beat.
There's no doubt this Paulsboro team knew what they were in for when they came into this game, but the heart of that young man really shone forth, as well as with all his teammates there in the second half, as he really was very instrumental, both offensively and defensively. Defensively giving his team an opportunity to stay in the game, offensively moving themselves in a position for this young man to make the play of the day.
And this young man is Reggie Lewis, who will remember this day for the rest of your life, Reggie.
Yes, I will. I don't really know what to say. I'm just happy I made it. I'm happy for the team, and especially Coach Howard, who believed that I can go out there and make the field goal, and that's why he sent me out there.
How many field goals have you attempted in your career?
One field goal.
One, this one or one more?
One field goal ever.
This was the first one?
Yes.
Now, Sharper's the short kicker and you're the long kicker? Is that the way it works?
Yes, he's the extra point kicker, and I'm the field goal kicker.
So when you got back up there, did you know that you were going to win? Did the coach say get ready?
Yes, he did. He told me when I was coming off, when we got the fumble recovery, I ran off. As soon as I ran off, he said, go put your shoe on. Ran out there. We got down to about 21, I think it was, and got me on the angle kick, and I just went head down, straight ahead, and kicked the ball.
Well, now, you knew you had the leg. There's no question you had the leg to kick it from 31 yards, but you had the angle. Did the angle concern you?
No, that's the way we practice them in practice. We do reps from everywhere on the field. It's just like practice.
Was it one of those kicks you knew as soon as you hit it, it was good?
Yes. Yes, it was a perfect kick, perfect hold, perfect snap.
Describe the feeling when you saw it go through.
I just ran down and slid, and everybody jumped on me. I couldn't breathe at the bottom of the pile, but it was a good feeling now.
You guys have won 51 games in a row. I bet none tougher than this one.
None. It was the toughest game when you played. I've been playing for 3 years. It's the toughest one I ever played in.
I know you guys have a lot of respect for the Glassboro team.
Yes, we do. They have a great defense. They have great players. I feel sorry for them. They worked hard all year. I feel sorry for the player that they lost, but what can you say?
That Paulsboro pride coming through, Reggie.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Again, a day you're always going to remember, Reggie.
Thank you.
Okay. Nice young man, Reggie Lewis. And boy, that is something that he will never forget, Steve.
No, and I tell you, I can't appreciate what he did until I stand down on this field now. What we were standing on in the beginning of the game was a very dry field. It seemed like it was draining very well. It is absolutely saturated. This rain is coming down very hard. And for them, you got to give the credit to the snapper. You have to give credit to the holder, and certainly to Mr. Lewis there for putting that through the uprights. And as he mentioned, he said a lot of nice things about this Glassboro team. Probably no loss can be ever tougher to take than what they had to take here this afternoon. They gave it everything that they could, put it out on our line, but just came up a little bit short.
Yeah, I know you have a lot of respect for the Glassboro program. Of course, you're a graduate of Glassboro High School. You played in a lot of tough games yourself, Steve, and I've seen a lot of tough games, but I don't ever recall a team battling as hard as Glassboro, deserving to be in a game as much as Glassboro and going away empty.
And you heard it on both sides, probably more so on the Paulsboro side. Even as much as they enjoyed this victory, they felt for this Glassboro team and how difficult it was for anybody to come out a loser in this football game, but that's what it's all about.
Yeah, we have a chance here, hopefully, to talk to Glenn Howard. Let's see if we can get Glenn in here. Glenn Howard is being besieged by the newspaper reporters. There is a lot of them here today, Steve, because this is the only game in this area, the only group championship game in this area today, but it was well worth it for these fans that braved the weather, because it was a game that had a little bit of a lot of turnovers. You know, it wasn't a pretty game, but defensively it was just so memorable.
Two great offenses coming into this game, and a lot of people think when you put great offenses on the field that you're going to score a lot of points, but I think anybody that really knows the game knew this was going to be a defensive duel, whether it be good weather or whether it be bad weather, and that's exactly what we saw. And the way this Paulsboro team came alive in that fourth period, as Lee Campbell mentioned, really digging down and giving it everything that they could. Great job in those last two series. The defense came up with the big plays, got them the good field position that they needed. First on the first, the touchdown that they needed to tie the game, and of course the yardage that they needed to get Lewis into field goal range, which was really big.
If he doesn't make the kick, we're still playing, Steve.
We could be here a long time, and they might be circling the cars here, because as we said in the telecast, it's getting awful dark very quick.
51 straight wins, Steve. Can you relate to something like that?
I don't think anybody can, and of course a lot of people have said now this puts them in a great position to break the state record of 54 as they will begin their season next year. And as we saw in our graphic at the end of the fourth quarter, a lot of good returning starters for this Paulsboro team. This is a team that can win quite a few more games in the future, but when you span the course of 5 years the way that they have, it's absolutely incredible what they've been able to accomplish.
Okay, I think we're ready to talk to Glenn Howard. Glenn, can we get you in here for just a minute? Congratulations, Glenn Howard, the head football coach at Paulsboro. Glenn, we were talking about the streak, 51 in a row, but I doubt that you had any tougher than this one.
No, we haven't had any tougher than this one. Probably in my 10-year coaching career, we haven't had a tougher game than this one, win or lose. I mean, my hat goes off to Glassboro. They played a great game. They got a great team, and the coaches did a great job, and they got some great athletes over there, and they got a lot to be proud of. I told them, don't put your heads down for no reason. And I'm so proud of our kids. I don't know what to do. You know, they never gave up, and they never said die, and they kept working, is what we told them at halftime, and it paid off for them.
No, you have a lot of respect for Bob Cleary, the coach at Glassboro High School, and I guess it's tough for anybody to relate to a loss like this, but they battled you all the way. They took away the outside game. They forced you to the inside. They did a lot of things right.
Yeah, they did a lot of things right. They got great team speed, and we couldn't establish an outside running game after about the first quarter. So we had to pretty much try to go inside. And we moved the ball decent inside and got some first downs, but it seemed as though we always got some kind of motion penalty or some kind of penalty that gave us 1st and 15 or 1st and 20. And, we just couldn't overcome that against a great defensive team. But we kept plugging away and got some turnovers. I told the guys at halftime, keep playing great defense, and if we can keep them at 6 points, anything can happen. We should be able to get at least one touchdown and kick the extra point, and we'll be all right.
Now, you win your 51st in a row and your 5th straight Group 1 title with a 31-yard field goal from a kicker that never kicked a field goal before.
Yeah, I just thank God. I just thank God for blessing us this year and keeping the guys healthy. And we got a lot of great kids here at Paulsboro, and they got the hearts of lions all the way from the line to the guys that play on the blue shirts and the backs, and our quarterback, Gabe Spatale, who was under a lot of pressure this year. He did a great job hanging in there for us. I mean, everybody. The kids just played their hearts out, and I'm so proud of them, I don't know what to do.
Glenn, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Glenn Howard, the head football coach at Paulsboro High School, about ready to celebrate number 51 in that 5th straight title. Steve, not much more to say, but I tell you what, I'm just happy to be part of this one. This one was special.
This one was special, and I know it was very special for Glenn Howard. This is a coach, although he has 5 straight, this has been a dominating football team for the last 5 years. The 4 years previous to that, it almost came too easy. This one you can appreciate a little bit more for the effort that his team had to put forth here this afternoon to pull out this victory. Very proud of these troops, and it was an outstanding effort for both teams.
Good working with you, Steve. Okay, final score again. Paulsboro 9, Glassboro 6. The Raiders win their 5th straight Group 1 title.